with which a devotee converses with his dear Lord. From the story of the blind saint Surdas, we come to know that it is a language of love. Let us hear his story today. In the year 1478 AD, a blind boy was born to a poor Brahmin couple. This child grew up in the village of Sihi, which was near the mountain Govardhan. Now we all have heard about this mountain. Little Krishna had lifted the Govardhan mountain on his little finger. Here, this blind boy grew up as a burden and neglected by his entire family. For a poor family, after 3 sons, the birth of a blind baby proved to be a great disappointment. And the little boy felt that nobody ever loved him truly. He was often hurt, humiliated, teased, and not even given a chance to study. So one day, with a heavy heart, silently and stealthily in the dark of the night, he decided to leave home. He started walking with some street singers. For the first time, he felt that there was a kind of peace in his heart when he heard the songs that the singers were singing. They were all songs about the Lord, and he too grasped them and began humming along. He was blessed with a melodious voice. Sometimes he met sannyasis and mahatmas while seated under the shade of some tree in some village. And by listening to them, he came to know a lot about the yogic powers of signs, omens, about foretelling the future and the such. And so it happened that as he wandered about all alone, once he was seated under a tree. Now there was an aura around him and a rich man came to him. This rich man had lost all his cows recently and in spite of searching everywhere for them could not find about their whereabouts. And looking at this youth, he just asked him, "Can you please help me to find out where my cows have gone?" Now Surdas just began to reflect for some time. And because of the powers that he had gained by the company of Sant Mahatmas, he was able to divine where the cows actually stood. And so he gave the directions. And when the cattle were found exactly at the point where this youth had just pointed out, now his fame spread. People started flocking around him, asking him about the whereabouts of lost children or about a suitable time to embark on a journey. Now all the people were fond of miraculous powers and they held this boy now with great respect and esteem. They built a house for him. Someone also gave him an iktara because he had such a beautiful voice and they were all enchanted and captivated by his singing. Now he got many disciples, but Surdas still felt that he was most at peace when he was alone. And so one day he left all of them and went quietly away. But as a blind person, how far could he travel? He stumbled on when suddenly he fell into an abandoned well. This well had a very low parapet and so he lost his balance and tumbled inside. For an entire week, he just waited hoping that someone would come and save him. He just sang the songs that he knew, calling out to the Lord. Then suddenly, he felt a divine touch. Someone very kindly and gently pulled him out of the well. But then before he could find out or ask who it was, that form had disappeared. Being blind, he could just cry out and search like a madman. But he knew in the heart of hearts that it was his Gopala. He kept calling out to Gopala and kept roaming around. But he could not find him. And so slowly he went ahead. He reached Mathura, where again he got the company of many noble souls. But even now he craved to be alone, and so he settled in Gaughat. Along the banks of the Yamuna, he would keep singing his bhajans, singing out to the Lord, always with that pang of separation, because he missed meeting his Lord once again. That one touch of the Lord when he was pulled out from the well was enough to infuse his bhajans with so much soul and music in it that he became famous, and all the people around started singing his bhajans. Now, a time came when Surdas came to know that the great scholar and master of Pushti Marg, the path of devotion, Sri Vallabhacharya had reached Vrindavan. Now Surdas wanted to go and meet him, but he thought, I am such an illiterate, ignorant fool. That great scholar who has defeated so many in debates, would he even care to meet me? But even Vallabhacharya had heard of the bhajans of Surdas and was waiting to meet him. And so there was a great and momentous, memorable meeting between these two devotees. Surdas fell at Vallabhacharyaji's feet, while Vallabhacharya raised him gently and told him to sing one bhajan. When Surdas began singing, Vallabhacharya noticed that there was so much potential in him, so much melody, that all the tunes, the raga, sur, lay, chanda had become his slaves. But he told him, do not whine, do not cry when you are singing. Sing with happiness, sing out of joy, sing about the Hari Leela. Now, Surdas was totally ignorant about all the stories of the Lord, for he had not studied nor had he got much company of people who would relate stories to him. And so he told Vallabhacharyaji, I do not know anything. Please initiate me as your disciple. And so, in his great kindness and out of compassion, Vallabhacharya gave him mantra diksha. He gave him a powerful mantra with which he could speak and invoke the blessings of Lord Krishna. And he took him to Gokul, made him stand in front of the idol of Balagopal and began describing it in great detail. He told him about all the stories of baby Krishna's pranks, his leelas, and soon Surdas understood everything as if he could witness it. In fact, Lord Krishna was so pleased with his devotion that he came in front of Surdas and told him that he would give back his vision if he so desired. But Surdas told Lord Krishna, I have seen your form. Now, there is no room for any other color of the world to fit into it. I do not want for any other sight. Surdas ki kali kamari chade na dujo rang. He began singing songs describing baby Krishna holding that lump of butter in his hand, his mouth smeared with curd, his stealthy eating of mud hiding from the eyes of Yashoda Maiya, hiding behind Yashoda Maiya's sari and telling innocently, "Main nahi makhan khayo." All the listeners of these bhajans could imagine that they were seeing little Krishna doing all these pranks and leelas. And Surdas became very famous. In fact, he is known as the first poet or Adi Kavi of Braja Bhasha, the language of Braj Bhumi. Now, even in Akbar's court, we all know of the great legendary singer Tansen. He began singing the bhajans of Surdas. So Akbar was so impressed that he asked that Surdas be brought to his court. But Surdas, full of detachment, for what would he care for the king's riches? He refused. He said that I will sing only in Lord Krishna's court. No other court is desired by me. Akbar really wanted to hear Surdas sing. So he came to Mathura. He went to Surdas, asked him to sing a song, and was so captivated that immediately told him, please accept some land and villages, have whatever you want, but come to my court, become a part of it. While Surdas replied that the entire world is his. It belongs to Lord Krishna. How can you give me a part of it? And Akbar realized that Surdas was indeed great in his devotion. He was incomparable. The temptation of wealth and riches was nothing compared to the love that he held for Lord Krishna. Now, Vallabhacharya made Surdas the chief singer of Lord Srinath Ji in a temple he had built on the Govardhan mountain. And daily Surdas would sing new songs. Each day he would describe how the idol had been decorated and decked up. There would be new alankar every day, new clothes put on the idols, and Surdas would describe it. People began wondering, how can it be so? Surdas must be pretending to be blind. He must be surely able to see. Let us test him. So one day, they did not adorn the idol with any cloth whatsoever. They just decorated the idol with pearls. And Surdas came to sing. Now Surdas said, oh, today my Lord doesn't have a single cloth on his body. He is just wearing ornaments taken from the water of the ocean. But yet, each limb of his is so charming, so incomparable in beauty. Now everybody realized the purity of his devotion. He could see not with the physical eyes, but with the eyes of love, that divine drishti. And so, day in and day out, from morning to evening, Surdas would be a part of the temple rituals. Until one day, in the afternoon, when the priest was offering Naivedya, he just turned around. But there was no song forthcoming. Surdas wasn't there. And the priest realized that yes, now this mighty ship of Pushtimar, the path of devotion, is approaching the harbor and meeting its goal, the Lord. They realized that the time had come for Surdas to depart from this body. It was the year 1580 AD. After the puja, the priest and all the other devotees rushed to Surdas's house. They gave him the divine prasad, and even in the dying moments, Surdas sang that he was lost in the memory of those gopis who themselves were lost in the love of the Lord. He held his Guru in so much high esteem because it was because of the Guru that he got the knowledge of Lord Krishna. And so he said, for me, the Guru is no different from my Lord. After these words, Surdas went into Samadhi. The physical body of this great saint Surdas is no more, but he is an inspiration. Let us also try that we may be blessed in this path of devotion and reach those heights that Surdas personified. May we be blessed by that vision so that that glory of the Lord is revealed to us. I will be back with another story next week. If you like today's story, do share it with your family and friends. Until we meet again, Hari Om.